Welcome back to the shop. I came back from um, Utah with this rock. It's called Wonderstone, and I'm going to show you what it takes to cut one from start to finish and turn it into a cab that looks something like this, where you have sort of a dome top and a flat back with a bevel on the edge, like so. And maybe I'll do an oval or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, let's check it out. So step one is using this here rock saw. It's got just a regular sort of diamond coated blade on a steel blade, and you can see it's really simple. The top just comes off, and it's just an electric motor and a bar with a blade attached to it and a brass bushing on the other side. So let's fill it up first with water. And really all you want to fill it up to is just so the bottom of the blade is barely sitting in the water, like so. So that way when you spin it, it spins this way, picks up some water on the way by, but not too much water. You don't want it splashing everywhere. And let's resecure the top. Now let me zoom into the saw here because there's a bunch of different types of blades. And this one's really nice. It's a smooth steel blade. And it's got some epoxy and some diamonds that are really small on the outside. And it cuts alright. The nice thing about using this one is if it's on and you touch it, it's not going to hurt. Or it's not going to cut you, not going to do a whole bunch of damage. However, there are a couple of blades, like this blade. We can see the edge of that one. It focuses a little bit. But it kind of is waffly on the outside. Or corrugated. And that's one you don't want to touch on the outside. Similarly, there's ones that are like this blade, but they have gaps. Those are also ones you don't want to touch. But for ease and safety, and because this is a hobby, this is the one way to go. So the rock we're going to be cutting is this one, and show you what that looks like. The key here is apply a steady, moderate to pretty good amount of pressure. Depending on the rock hardness, this could take a while. Alright, so we're through, and look at that. It is magnificent looking. You focus. Oh, there we go. It looks fantastic. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do or what shape I'm going to cut, but I'm going to try and get some of these red rings in it. And what I might end up doing is doing a couple of smaller pieces. Maybe one like this shape, and then one down here. Something like that. A lot of people do use graphite or pencil to outline their shape, but I like to wing it, so we're going to see what it looks like. I think what we'll do is cut it down the middle first. Okay, so we're going to have maybe 4 pieces out of this, depending on how wide this gets. And these will be smaller pieces, maybe for a ring or a little piece of jewelry. Alright, so what I'm going to show you is this piece here. I think that's the one I'm going to start to finish. And I'm going to use the saw to clean up a bit of the edges, just so it looks a little bit better. And it's easier to grind. There we go. So we kind of have like an ovoid shape. Let me turn this off. Kind of have an oval. Focus. Focus. Come on. Come on. Come on. What are you doing? There you go. Kind of have an ovalish shape there. And the saw side will be the flat side. I'll bevel on the outside there. And then I'll grind down the top. And then we'll see what we end up with. Alright, what I have here is the Cab King setup. It's essentially an electric motor and with 3 wheels on one side and 3 wheels on the other side. And there's varying grits as you go along. So there's 80 grit all the way up to 3000. The first 2 are diamond ones, so that's going to be most of the shaping. This will be cleaning up the shape, and then these will start the polishing, and then there's a polishing wheel on the back side. Got a nice little light. Generally the cab setup is there's a water pump underneath the table, and then these little knobs will start the flow of water there. And you want a steady drip, you can use as much as you want. And then it'll drain out the back side from the hoses over there to a different bucket. Nice thing about this is you're always using clean water. So let's start her up. Alright, I'm going to start on the second wheel, the 220 grit, just because this rock is mostly made up of quartz, and when it's made up of quartz it tends to break, and then this makes it all chattery. So this is a little too aggressive. We'll start out over here. And what I'm going to be doing is moving it back and forth along the grinder so I don't use one side or the other. And I'm going to be shaping the outside, so I'm going to be moving it a lot like this. And just start with rounding off the corners. Alright, so I don't like this little white side over here, so I'm actually going to make that a little bit concave. And the way that you do that is using the curvature of the wheel, just moving it back and forth, and not rotate the rock at all. So overall, the shape's probably going to look like that, kind of a lopsided jelly bean or something. I don't know what the shape's called, but hopefully you'll like it. The next step is really preventative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 45-degree cut along all the edges there. And what that does is really stop the rock from chipping. The way that you do that is you hold the rock and you rotate it while it's intersecting the wheel at about 45 degrees. It's kind of an eyeball thing, so you don't have to be super precise. And when you're doing the concave side, you just kind of have to do it this way. Alright, so now that we beveled the back side, we'll flip it over this side and make a nice dome. And what you want to do is first start it with that 45-degree angle cut, until you meet down to the, get close to the bevel. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Here you want to apply moderate to pretty good amount of pressure, but you don't want to go overboard, because if you go overboard you might crack the rock, and you definitely want to make sure that you're applying pressure underneath right where you're cutting. A lot of people like to use dop sticks, which is where you just put a super glue stick onto the back, and then so your fingers aren't so close. But honestly, the grinder doesn't really hurt too much. Didn't really do anything. So for ease, I just use my hands. Alright, so I'm getting pretty close on my 45-degree cut, and essentially to make it a dome shape, all you want to do is every time you see an angle, just cut it in half. So a lot of people talk about, oh, you want to do a 45 and a 60, but your eyeball's honestly not that good. But you're really good at halves, so if you see an angle like this one right here, just cut it in half. Make sure you're rotating the stone too, so that way you're not left with any flat spots. Alright, so that's the general shape. I might trim it up a little bit more, but I'm meeting the bevel side on the other over here to make a 90-degree angle. And you don't want it to go any less than 90-degree angle there, because or any sharper, because it'll start to chip. Okay, now that we have the general shape, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step it down, and this is going to clean up the shape just a little bit more. It's still a little bit angular in some areas. So yeah, the next step. Now the finer the grit, the better the finished cut will be, but the longer it's going to take. I might also, as I rotate around, trim up the roundness. But since these are epoxy, you don't want to spend too much time in one spot, and you don't want to put the edge right on the epoxy, because you'll start to cut into the epoxy. I'm going to recut the bevel a little bit just to make it a little bit better. Alright, what I'm doing is rocking it back and forth and trying to really get that round top that I cut over here. Don't spend too much time in one place or you're going to remake a flat spot that you have to ground out later. Alright, that's looking pretty good. I'm looking at it in the light and there's not a lot of flat spots left over. So I'm going to start moving over to the polishing side. Alright, we're going to be doing the same deal here. Just rocking it back and forth and trying to smooth it out even further. This is a more polishing side, so we're not going to be able to shape it a whole bunch. We're going to shape it a little bit. A lot of people think I go slow, but that just takes some more flat spots. You rock it back and forth really quick, like that. It makes it for a better finished piece. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Let's move on to the next one. You can notice too, the water's not as murky over here. You're not cutting very much rock, you're just kind of polishing it. Alright, that's looking pretty good. You don't have to spend too much time on here, especially with a small piece like this. You just want to make sure that you give a good thorough grinding to pretty much everywhere on the rock. Let's go on to the next one. This could be theoretically the last one. There is some diamond paste that I'm going to apply on the outside, but the 3000 grit is pretty fine and it'll get you a pretty good polish. So if you notice, I didn't do anything with the backside. I'm kind of hoping that whenever I set it, I'll just put a solid back, or nobody's going to pay attention to the back anyway. So that's it for the wheels. Next I'm going to go to the outside here for some diamond paste. Alright, the last little step is hitting the rock with a little bit of this diamond paste. You don't have to use diamond paste. There's cerium, there's aluminum, any sort of polish, but this came with diamond paste, so I'm going to use it. And on the Cab Kings, behind this panel is a little flat lap, and all you have to do is take it off. It's easier said than done, I guess. And I have a pre-impregnated flat lap with some water. Turn the water on. And I'll just do the same thing I've been doing. Here you have to be really careful because it will catch really easily or overheat, and if it catches, it'll shoot out and possibly break. If it overheats, it'll possibly break as well. Alright, and that's it. One polished stone. Looks like that. I'll post more zoomed in pictures in a little while. Thanks for watching.